Alright, getting started with Firefly is really easy. If you go to our website, fireflyreservations.com, you can click Start for free, and you just have to fill out this little form, put in your first name, your last name, your email, property name, and hit Create Account. And that's going to take you directly to our dashboard. So you're going to have immediate access to being able to actually manage your Firefly account and set up your property. So the first thing we want to do is you're going to see the dashboard and everything is going to be empty. There's no units, there's nothing in here yet. So we'll just go to settings and kind of go down the list here and just set up your property. So first we're going to start with property. And this is just going to be where general information about your property and other generic property settings. So, property name, we're going to call this Moonlight RV Park. You can set up the website, address, all that information here. Alright, so now that we got the information set, we're going to just scroll down a little bit and we're going to upload our property logo. And we're going to find our logo and select it. And this is the logo that's going to show on the guest portal and the reservation portal. And then the next thing you can do is choose a property image. And this is just going to be kind of a background image for the reservation portal as well. And then now we can even choose a primary property color. And this is just the color of the primary buttons on the reservation portal and the guest portal. So we'll just choose a custom dark blue here. And we're going to hit save, and that'll save all of our basic information. So the next thing is, if you click on the Reservations tab, this is just where you can fill out, set up your different reservation-related settings. You can skip over most of this now and always go back and change it later. It's like you can change how your rates are calculated, whether it's prorated or a waterfall. You can, schedule how far out a person can make a reservation. You can choose whether or not a guest needs to enter the size of their RV. If they have a pet and RV equipment, that sort of thing can all be set up here as well. So here's a custom reservation message. Once a guest makes a reservation on the reservation portal, this is the message that they're going to see. Or you can even have it redirect to your own website with a success message there. And then that's pretty much it for the reservations. So we'll save that, and then we go over to payments, and this is where you can set up different payment settings, but also connect with Stripe. So Stripe is our payment processor integration, where you can it only takes a few minutes to get connected with them, so you can start processing credit cards right away. So if you hit, I'm going to start in test mode here. If you hit connect with Stripe, and you can choose live mode if you're actually going to be in live mode. And you're going to have to enter if you haven't logged into Stripe already, you can log in and you'll come to this page. And if you already have a Stripe account, well then it'll ask you which account do you want to sign into through Stripe. If you don't have one already, you can click create a new account, and that'll take you to a screen where you can just fill out your business information and your bank account so they know where to put the money. And once you're done, we're going to hit connect, or once you're done filling out that form, it's going to take you back to Firefly, where now we're done, and you'll see it's connected to Stripe. And I connected it in test mode, so it's orange, but you can do live mode since you're actually going to be processing payments. This is just for testing purposes here for me. So that's it. So you're ready to start collecting payment directly through Firefly. And the next thing we're going to look at is notifications. You can change the email that, every time somebody makes a new reservation, this is the email that's going to get a email sent to them to notify them of a new reservation. So you can add multiple emails here, separating them with a comma. And that's pretty much it as far as your settings. There's a few other tabs here, but you can go through them. If I go back to the reservation tab, you're going to see the reservation portal URL. This is your custom URL for your reservation portal. That's where your guests are going to make a reservation. If you click on this, it's going to take you to that URL. And here's what it looks like. Here's our custom background image we chose and our logo. This is where the guest will enter their dates and search for availability. So on your website, this is our little demo website here. All you're going to need to do is go add a button that says book now or check availability. And fact, I recommend putting a button on multiple places on your sites. You know, put it here, put it further down at the bottom of the page. It doesn't hurt to have it multiple times, so that way, you know, that's your call to action button to let the guests know, you know, there's no doubt where to go to make a reservation. So what you're going to do is when you add a button to a website, it's going to ask you what URL you want that button to go to. Well, in your Firefly settings, you want this to be the URL that you point it to. So when you click on it, it takes takes the guests to your reservation portal where they're ready to make a reservation. So we'll close out of that for now. We'll go back to settings, and that's pretty much it as far as just your property settings. So the next thing is we're going to go to add-ons. The add-on is for things like firewood bundles, or if they want to rent a golf cart, that sort of thing. You can add add-ons. Just click New Add-on, and you can fill out information here. We'll add a firewood bundle, and you can add a picture. So we'll select an image for that, and then we'll save it. And then we'll add also a rental. So if you want to add something like a golf cart, that's a rental, you can do that. And we'll choose, you can add a daily, weekly, and a monthly rate. And then we'll save it. We'll also select an image. And then we'll also add an other. This can be something like a electricity deposit or like a cleaning deposit. And this one, we'll set it up to be a required add-on later. So we're not going to have that one show on the reservation portal for now. We're just going to set this one to $100. So there we go. Now we got our add-ons. Next, we're going to set up amenities. So this can just be any possible amenity that you have on any of your sites at your park. So, you can add things like 50 amp and 30 amp and water and Wi-Fi, picnic tables, that sort of thing. So we're going to add a few of those. So now we got different amenities added. We're going to go down to email templates. And this is where any email template that's automatically sent out by the system, you can customize it to say whatever you want. So, for example, the new reservation template is whenever a guest makes a reservation, they immediately get this email to let them know, hey, your reservation was successful. So you can go through here and totally customize this email. If you want to take anything out or add anything or add any special instructions, you can do that here. Once you're done, just hit save, and that'll customize your message. And next, we're going to take a look at policies. So policies, you can just put in different policies, like here's our check-in time, check-out time, pet policy, cancellation policy. You're going to add all of that here. So we'll go add some policies. Alright, so now we've got our policies pasted in. We're going to hit save, and that'll save the policies. So when a guest is making a reservation, they're going to see these policies, and they're going to have to accept them in order to continue on to make the reservation. Next, we're going to check out taxes. So if you collect any taxes at your park, whether it's sales tax or some sort of occupancy hotel tax or anything like that, you can go ahead and add them here. So we'll just add sales tax, and we'll add 8.25%. And you can add multiple taxes. We'll do that here. We'll say a hotel tax of 2%. So once you have all your taxes added, then we'll go down to units. So now we're going to set up units. So no units added yet. A unit is any, whether it's an RV site, whether it's a tent site, a cabin, a room, any of those are considered a unit. So we're going to create a new unit, and we're just going to call it a standard RV site. And we're going to hit save, and that'll take us to all of the details about this site. So you can add a number. So you might have 10 standard RV sites and 10 deluxe RV sites. So you can number them 1 through 10, 11 through 20, or so forth. So we'll just name this number 1, and we're going to say it's a RV site by the river. You can add as much more descriptive information here. Then you're going to add a max capacity, max adults, max children. So basically, max capacity is adults plus children. So if you have like a cabin that can handle 6 people total, then you could do max capacity 6, and then maybe it can only handle 2 adults and up to 4 children, or maybe up to 6 children. You can kind of specify, if it can only handle so many adults, but it can handle a total of 6 people, then you can set that here. So, we can lower that to 6, say it can handle up to 2 adults and 4 kids or 6 kids. If you don't accept pets at all, then you can just lower that to 0. And then you can set up what type of site it is. So there's RV site, there's tent site, tent or RV site, boat slip, venue, cabin, lodging, any of that. And you can customize the names of these in your property settings, by the way. So we'll just say this is a regular RV site. You can specify a min and a maximum length. So we'll say this is a 40-foot max space. And then you can choose whether or not slides are allowed. We'll say both sides. And then if you want to restrict the age of the RV, you can do that here as well. So we'll say 2000 is the minimum age for RVs. And then you can specify what type of reservation is accepted at this site. So, this RV site, let's say we want to accept ongoing only. Ongoing reservations are reservations that don't have an end date. You put in the start date, they're just going to stay there, they're going to pay monthly until they decide to leave. A standard reservation is your short term, or if they know the date, the departure date up front. So we'll just say all, anybody can stay on this site. Hide from Reservation Portal, this means it's going to be hidden from the Reservation Portal, so a guest is not going to be able to reserve this site from the portal. You'll be able to reserve it from the back end, but guests will not from the portal. A lock fee, you can set up a lock fee so the guest can pay, an extra $5 to guarantee this site as opposed to a similar site, so they don't get moved to a similar site. That's just a way to increase revenue if they want to pay extra to make sure they're getting that site that they're picking, and so that they don't get moved to a similar site if you decide to shuffle people around. So we'll hit save, and then the next thing is we're going to cover rates. So you have 4 types of rates: daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal. You don't have to have weekly, monthly, and seasonal. You could only do daily, or if it's an ongoing site, you could only have monthly. It's nice to go ahead and add some for all of them. A standard rate is just your base rate, while a special rate is usually for like holidays and special discounted rates for seniors or club memberships or that sort of thing. So we'll say a standard rate. We're just going to do a regular daily rate of $50 a day. You can put in a weekend rate if you want, and we're going to choose when it starts. We'll just say today and leave the end date empty unless you know when it should end. That way this rate is good for forever. You can always come back later and end it if you want to update your rates. And for extras, you can charge extra for adults, per adult. So you could say this daily rate is good for up to 4 adults, while extra adults are going to be $2, $3 extra per night or that sort of thing. It's good for up to 4 children. Every additional child is, an extra dollar amount. Or you can say total is, this rate, $50 a night, is good for up to 8 people. Any extra person is, $10. Or none if it's a flat $50 no matter how many people are there. So we'll just keep it simple. And then if you want to create a special rate, like let's say, over the 4th of July holiday, you want to charge a little extra. So we'll just add a July 4th rate, and we'll say this is $60 a night. And this is going to begin, and you can choose when this rate applies. So we'll say from the 2nd to the 6th, and we'll save that. So anytime there's a special rate, that'll override the standard rate. So when somebody makes a nightly reservation in this date range, this is the rate that's going to apply. And so you can use special rates for other things, like if you do show advanced here, you can say this rate only applies when there's this many nights in the stay, or property occupancy. You can say if the property is only 50% full, it's $50 a night, but if it's 90% full, then it's $60 a night. So you can make it dynamic rates there as well. And you can use rate qualifiers to do things like group memberships, like senior discount or Good Sam's Club or anything like that. You can look that up in our knowledge base for more information. And then you can do the same thing for weekly rates and monthly rates. Basically, if a guest is staying 1 month long or longer, it's going to use the monthly rate. If they're stay is in between a week long and a month, then the weekly rate will be used. And if it's less than a week long, then the daily rate's going to be used. Seasonal rate is good for seasons. So if you want to just charge a flat, let's say $2,000 for the whole season, you can create a new rate and say, from this date to this date, any reservation made within those parameters is just going to be a flat $1,000. So once you get the rate set up, then we need to set up a deposit. So by default, it's set to 100%. If we go edit this, you'll see you can change that to a dollar amount or a percentage. You can create multiple rules. So, you could say 100% for standard reservations, while you only want to charge 50% of the first month for ongoing reservations. So ongoing reservations, the percentage is always going to be based on the first month's amount. So we'll say, we'll just keep it for all. We'll say 100% is due up front. And you can even do, if you do something like 50% up front, you could say schedule the remaining balance for this number of days after the arrival date. So if you said 2 days after the arrival, you'll charge the remaining balance. You can also go into the negative. So you say like 2 days before they arrive, go ahead and charge the remaining balance. So you can schedule that so it'll automatically handle all that. And you can do advanced rules here too. The number of nights in the reservation or days until the reservation starts. You can create multiple rules, and the first one that applies where all parameters are valid for that reservation will be the one that's used. So you can create multiple rules and then use the little handlebar to drag them. And then taxes. So you can add a tax rule. So if you click add, here's the taxes that we set up, the sales tax and the hotel tax. You can say, okay, the hotel tax is only required for 30 days and longer. So we'll set the minimum to 30 days and we'll leave that one empty. And that's how you set up a tax. And then photos, we'll go ahead and click here to show some photos of the site. So we'll look for our RV site. We'll say that one right there. You can add multiple pictures as well and rearrange them. Amenities, these are the amenities we added, so we'll say it has all of those things. And the minimum, maximum night, this is where you can set up a min and max rules. So, if this site, you have to reserve for at least 3 nights during the summer, well then you can come in here and set up, okay, during, this date range, let's say all of July, you can say it's a minimum of 3 nights, hit save, and that'll set up a minimum night rule. You can do the same thing for maximum nights. A block is if you need to block out this site. So from the first week in July, this thing is going to be being repaired. You can block it out and fixing the site. And that'll block off that site so that nobody can make a reservation during that time. Add-ons, if you want to create a required add-on, so we'll say for these are the add-ons we required. You can say electricity deposit is required for ongoing reservations. Default quantity is going to be 1. You can specify like if an add-on is only required if the reservation is within a certain range of dates, or if it's so many days long. If you wanted to do something like a pet fee, you could choose pet fee add-on and say increase the quantity by the number of pets. So if it's like a pet fee per pet, you can do that sort of thing. So we'll do save. And that creates that. So that's pretty much all there is to setting up a unit. So right now, there's only 1 unit. So if we go back to all units, you're going to see we just have 1 standard RV site. And we're going to go ahead and set up the rest of them. Now, we don't necessarily want to do all that work just for each site. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to options and we're going to clone it. So if you do that, you can say, hey, I want 9 more just like this. So we're going to hit clone, and just like that we just created 9 more. So if I go back, you'll see now there's 9 units. So if we click on one of them, you'll see everything is exactly the same. The rates are set up, the deposits are set up, everything is exactly the same. So if we go back, you'll see that they're all named with copies. An easy way to update this is go to arrange units. And from here, we can update the unit number. Now you can use tricks like set unit number to match sort order. If we do that, you'll see it automatically numbered them 1 through 10. or you can number them yourself, and you can even use this button to arrange them in the same order that in the way that they're numbered. So you can see you can reorder them here if you want, if they're out of order. So once you like the numbers, you can actually update the names here as well. So we're going to remove the copy text here, and we'll hit save. And just like that, all of our units are numbered and named correctly. So you'll see here. And if we go back to the reservation grid, then you'll see all of our sites. So you'll see 1 through 10, and you'll see that block we created on the first one, that was copied even, and so everything is identical. Now, you might think of something you want to change now. So I'm looking at this and I realize, okay, I don't want that repair to be on all of them, and I also see that they're all hidden from the reservation portal, so I want to change that. So I'm going to go to one of them. You can click on that part of the reservation grid to go to that unit, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to unhide it from the reservation portal, and we're also going to go to the blocks tab, and I'm just going to remove this block. I decide I don't need that. So now if I go back to the grid, you'll see that only updated that one item, but I want to go ahead and update the rest with that too. So if you click on options and go to import export unit info, you can actually import changes from another unit to this unit, or export changes settings from this unit to other units. So we'll do export, we'll say all of them, and then you get to choose what do you want to export. So we want to do block out dates, and we want to do hide from the reservation portal. This is a great place, if you just want to update rates or something, then you can pick and choose. You could just choose rates, or you could just choose whatever it is you're copying to the rest of the units. So we hit continue. Yes, we want to copy those settings. Now if we go back to the reservation portal, you see the rest of them are updated as well. So that's a really quick way to update all of your sites without having to update each one individually. So that'll save you a lot of time. And finally, now you can actually start accepting reservations if you go to the reservation portal, or you can create a new reservation internally as well. So go under reservations, new reservation. This is where you'll add a new reservation from the back end. You just enter in the information, hit search, and here are all the sites at $50 a night, since we just chose one night. So you can choose a site, choose a guest, hit create reservation, and that's going to actually create a reservation. Or if you click reservation portal, this is ready to be used. You can start, put a link to this on your website, and you can start taking reservations right away. We already hooked up Stripe, so you can, the minute somebody makes a reservation, you're going to collect payment. So you're ready to go. And one other thing that we can set up is, now that we have all the units added, is the map. So under settings, under map, you can upload an image. So we're going to search for that right now, and I got one right here. And this map, it can be any image. So if you already have a map of your campground, that'll work great. Or if you want to take a satellite image of your campground, you can do that. So once you have it uploaded, then all we have to do is use this tool to mark the units on the map. So we have two options. You can outline the map, or you can put a circle on the map. So the outline works like you just click on each corner, and that tags where on the map this unit is. So once you get back to the first corner, it says which unit is that? That's S1. So you can hit finish when you're all done, and you'll see that is now an interactive map. Where you click on it, it tells you which one it is. If you messed up, you can just click remove. You can use the zoom feature to really zoom in. That might help getting these corners just right. Another option you have is to use the circle mode, which basically just puts a circle on the map. You can change how big the diameter of the circle is, and then you can just basically put a circle on each one. So we'll say 2, and we'll say 3 is right here, and that will a little easier way to tag them if you want, but it still tags each one so that you can know where on the map it is. So then whenever you go to make a reservation, we're going to do a search, and you'll see now there's a map option, and these items that we tagged are now showing, and they're going to be interactive. So if it's not available, then it'll show that it's not available and be red, and the green ones will be available. So you just need to do that for each one of your units. And that's pretty much it. So setting up your property is really easy. The minute you set up your account, you can start playing with it, start setting everything up. Of course, there's more to it, but this was just getting started. If you have any questions, you can always go to our website. If you go to fireflyreservations.com, you click on support, there's a knowledge base, and there's all kinds of articles in here, so you can get lots of information about all the things that we talked about, such as rate qualifiers, that sort of thing. So as always, if you go back to your Firefly dashboard, on the bottom left there's a button that says support request. If you click on that, this is a quick way to send us a message, let us know if you have any questions, and we're always quick to getting back to you with an answer. So feel free to let us know if you have any questions.